Today's episode is sponsored by ByHeart. ByHeart is an infant nutrition company built from the ground up to deliver real innovation on behalf of babies and parents. Their mission is simple: make the best formula in the world. Using the latest in breast milk science, ByHeart created a clinically proven, easy to digest infant formula that's made with organic, grass-fed whole milk, certified clean ingredients, and features a patented protein blend that gets closest to breast milk. So this year, our friends at ByHeart, the only American-made formula with globally sourced ingredients to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, never skim, are celebrating the ways in which they never skim on anything, especially your babies. So ByHeart never skims on healthy fats. They use only organic, grass-fed whole milk. Whole milk is full of healthy fats like naturally occurring MFGM, which play an important role in babies' brain development and growth, which is super important. They also never skim on protein. So their patented protein blend gets closest to breast milk thanks to the two most abundant proteins found in breast milk, plus broken down proteins. If you are looking for a formula to try for your baby, maybe your friend needs a recommendation, maybe you're pregnant, you're looking into, how to feed your baby after birth and you're not sure if you're going to be able to breastfeed or bottle feed or formula feed, ByHeart is definitely the place to look. So if you're curious about ByHeart, redeem your welcome offer at byheart.com/podcast with code WhatWeSaid20 for a limited time. Additional terms and conditions to apply. Again, that's byheart.com/podcast with the code WhatWeSaid20 for a limited time. Additional terms and conditions apply. Go check it out. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the What We Said podcast. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are all having a great day thus far. It's Friday, and it's our monthly advice column episode where we give you the best advice you've ever heard in your entire life. But take it with a grain of salt, please, okay? So this is mostly for entertainment purposes. And today, joining me, I have back again, the one and only Abby, my sister.
Woo!
Welcome back. Go. And I'm so glad you're here wearing my shoes that she did not ask me if she could wear. And in fact,
thought I'd bring them back to you.
She had she had a pair similar.
I thought I texted you to bring them to trade.
You did?
No.
Let me check my text.
No, I'm just kidding.
I have, anyway, so she wore one pair to my house before we did the other episode. And I was like, Abby, those shoes are filthy, dirty. It looks like you purposely ran through the mud in them. But they're like these, but they're red colorway, one that she's wearing. And then I was like, okay, I feel like you knew that if you wore those shoes that I would have a pair and be like, well, I'm not going to let you wear dirty shoes on my podcast, so I'll give you new shoes.
No, the thing is I don't recognize how dirty my shoes were and ever are. I don't look like, I don't know. It's not even in my realm of awareness.
Sure. Nice excuse. It's a way to get new shoes. So then I was like, well, okay, I'll trade you. So she left her shoes in my house and took those. And then the other day she's like, oh, you still have my shoes? I'm like, yeah. Yes, if
I'm willing to trade back whenever you want.
Yeah, I have worn them once or twice. So.
You got me.
Anyways, they are cute. They're cute and I do like them, obviously.
Well, you can have them back.
Oh, thank you so much.
If you want.
Thank you so much.
Just take them back.
Anyways, we're glad you're back. And we have some listener questions written in, and we're going to answer them. But first, what? You still thinking about that?
I'm thinking about written. I wrote. We had questions written in.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wrote in.
I didn't say wrote.
I know, but none of it sounds okay.
I know, whatever. People sent in their questions. But first I want to talk about a couple things. Little life updates. Surprise, surprise. First is, okay, so we had our main Love Island recap that went up on Tuesday. Tyson was on, and we did a full, up to that point in the season, recap. We had not seen the last, 2 episodes, I think, because it was recorded on a Wednesday. So I wanted to recap the finale. And on that episode, I had said, I don't really care about the finale. I don't care about the final dates. But the finale was so good. I was waiting all day for the finale. I could not wait long. I could not, I just couldn't wait. And it was so good. And I just wanted to recap it because I feel like there was stuff that we didn't even talk about on the episode. And there's just so much. I just want it to be my entire life. Like, I want to become a Love Island podcast.
Yeah, I know. It was very, I think everything leading up to it was wild, but like the fact that no one had any idea how big that season was, and then also like the whole thing with Leah and how the producers and the editing try to make us hate her.
Yeah.
But everyone actually loved her. And so in her mind, she's like, people kind of ganged up on her for a bit, and then she just had no idea that she was so loved. And so, it's to see all of that play out was pretty
cinematic.
It was very cinematic.
It was so good. Okay, so the episode that I think we came back on was the random filler episode, basically. They're just like playing games and whatever.
Oh, like the challenge.
And what we had talked about was we had kind of touched on Leah and Miguel, okay, when Tyson was here. I honestly kind of forgot. It was like a whole week ago, okay. My brain works slow. But we didn't really talk about Leah and Miguel as a couple that much. But these last couple episodes and just like TikToks that I've seen of like catching them in the background, I am truly obsessed with them as a couple. I feel like they bring out the best in each other. His speech to her when he was like, you bring out a light in me.
The finale thing?
Yeah, basically like telling her, you've made me go from an F-boy to a lover boy.
Yeah.
Like, I just have been seeing that I've been playing defensively. I was tearing up, and it's just so easy with them. They're so funny. Like, when they tried to kiss and their helmets hit.
Yeah.
And they started
so
dying
cute,
laughing.
actually.
It was so cute.
Yeah,
and
was
when
so cute.
The ship sailed for me with her and Rob. Okay, first of all, when he called her batshit crazy.
Yeah, that was it.
He was just being mean to her.
Yeah, he was just
in
mean.
that situation, he was being mean. He was being mean.
Yeah, it's not just like a little bit bitter and then like you are talking to your friends, like, yeah, whatever. It was like he was deliberately putting people against her in the villa.
Yeah, thinking that she was
manipulating her words, like feeding it to everyone, and so to make himself feel better. I don't know.
Who knows what that was about? I have no clue still to this day. And he just kept going downhill. When he got super mad at Kendall that one time, because Kendall was like, I don't trust you, like in the game. Oh. It was like game, and he was like, what was that about? And it's like, okay, it's a game, first of all. But also, he was kind of spot on when he was like, you and Leah have kind of been a little murky. Like, I don't know who's telling, like, he said, she said. And it was true. They both had been, like, kind of not really telling the truth. And then when you watched back his conversation breaking up with Leah, how he went with Andrea, and just all of it.
Also, maybe you guys talked about this, but the conversation that Rob and Leah had at the very beginning when they were like, when he had just kissed Andrea.
Yeah.
And the way that, did you guys talk about the way that he was like talking to her and how confused, like he was confusing her when he was like the sexual chemistry, like, is like whatever.
We touched on it because
that conversation was spooky to me.
Yes.
It's like confusing her on purpose.
If you watch it, it wasn't him like, oh, he's having emotions. We kind of talked about it like, him having emotions, it was like, oh, it's a man being vulnerable. No, like he was upset because maybe he was upset because he didn't want to hurt her feelings. Yeah. But then he just started being like, yeah, well, by the way, we don't have sexual chemistry. Like, we don't really have a groove. And like, also, I don't like this about you. And she's like, oh my gosh, like what? We were just having a conversation. Now you like another girl and you're telling me why you like them more. I don't understand what the point of that is. And if you watch that conversation back, she's just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I get it. And she's always listening to this is why I love Leah, because she listens and she actually tries to get better. Like, she is herself, she's honest, and then she takes what they say to her and she's like, okay, yeah, I could. She's not perfect.
She's very humble and accepting, like, yeah, I could probably do better in that instead of getting defensive.
Exactly. Even when he was like, you haven't asked me how I feel, if I'm okay. And she's like, oh, okay, are you okay? Yeah. And then after he, whatever, did his big one, she would say, and like got up and left her for Andrea and just stood there and like made a face at her, which was so weird too.
I can't handle his faces.
You're right though. He does kind of like just confuse her.
Yeah, that's like, the thing. I think watching it, most women and maybe men, but mostly women have been confused by a guy in that type of situation where it's like they like you, they say things, but then it's like every once in a while they'll like slip something in, like, oh, but I don't like this about you, and you're just like, wait, what? Or like, oh, I like this type of girl more. You're like, wait,
Oh,
I'm so
true.
confused.
Yeah, like
Do you
my
know what I
type
mean?
is this. And you're like, what?
That's how he was. It's like his own things was getting in the way of like, I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah, no, that's very true. It was giving bad vibes. And then they had their time apart, and he was kind of going on his own weird journey and had a million different couples. And the only time he kind of started redeeming himself a little bit was it right before the heart rate challenge? There was like 2 episodes where he was like honest with Daniela. I think that's when I was like, okay, he's like trying to be honest and trying to whatever. I don't think he's a horrible guy.
No.
I just think that he has a lot of red flags in relationships. I think he's extremely immature in relationships.
Yeah, I think so.
And like emotionally not able to, I don't know.
He's probably
be in
not
a
aware of
relationship.
the things that he's doing to other people
Yeah.
and how his words do matter to other people. I think he just, I don't think he's deliberately maybe doing it, but I think he's just not mature yet.
No.
In
I don't
relationships.
know what's going on. But the last thing I was going to say about the ship sailed for me. Okay. Everyone was wanting at the heart rate challenge when she sat on his lap and was like, you still have the hots for me. And he was like so into that. First of all, he was so into her doing like all those jokes because that's like so him, like all the quirky little jokes.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
I will admit, I was folding a little bit. I'm like, oh, that would be cute if
Yeah.
like they got back together. Because,
Yeah, of course. Because they were cute.
yeah, they were cute. But then when he literally like slept with Cassie the first night, I was like, okay, the ship with Rob and Leah has sailed.
Yeah.
Like he's not into it. Like he's not in it for her. He's literally, I think he's quite literally like over Love Island and he's just like, F it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally.
And is done.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's how
I
it
think
felt.
when I saw her and Miguel, especially after the heart rate challenge, when he was like, I was just nervous about Cassie. Like, he's just not the F way that people want to make him out to be.
Yeah.
And then he was just so sweet to her. Like the whole time, like the things that he says, how he looks at her, like the way he compliments her is constantly reassuring her. I saw this edit and it was like Rob talking to her and like,
Wait, I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
Like how he's like making her cry, and then the next one is like that, like the sound behind is his speech.
and it's Miguel like giving her so much reassurance. So sweet.
Yeah, that was a
I
cute
love them
TikTok.
together. And I think on the last episode, I had said something about how maybe they wouldn't work out. I'm like, oh yeah, they're not going to work out. But I genuinely believe that maybe they won't get married, but I think they'll date for a while.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so
that
too.
they've really touched something within each other.
Well, I think didn't she say in her speech that he was like her guardian angel or something?
Mm-hmm.
I just think like seeing her being mistreated by Rob and then having all of the things that Miguel has said to her
Mm-hmm.
and just the difference and the contrast makes you love them more because it's like that's what it should be. You know what I mean?
Oh, and when she said, when the girls were like, would you ever get back with Rob? Like if they both said we want you. And she's like, I would say Miguel.
Yeah, that's my heart kind of like was,
cute.
I kind of made me
Yeah.
relax when she said that because I was like, we're done with the messy stuff with Rob. He will not treat her good. Not because he's bad necessarily. It's just like.
They're not good for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they kind of already, I don't know if you can come back from seeing a guy on TV be like, she's batshit crazy. And like, she's a manipulator. And like him trying to like call her a liar, trying to get everyone against her.
Yeah.
And it was so, I think the finale was so exciting because you're like, they're about to come into the world and see how much everybody, like to see that this season has blown up.
Yeah.
They don't know how big they are yet. Like they don't know how much of a star they are.
Yes. No, literally it's crazy. I kept thinking about that the whole finale. I'm like, when they get their phones and they see like, it sounds really shallow, but like the celebrities that now follow them and like, they're going to have so many messages of people that even Serena, I was thinking, watching her, we talked about this a little bit, how healing it was to watch her like put up her boundaries and being like, no, I'm not just going to take you back. Like that was wrong. I do not deserve that.
Yeah.
And
we talked about
watching
that
her,
in person, not on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
People
did
like,
you,
yeah.
But I thought that was like cool because I think a lot of people loved watching that specifically because you just don't see that much, especially on reality TV.
Well, tell them, the listeners, what we were talking about.
Didn't I just say it?
Oh, well, kind of, but go into it a little more.
Okay, we were talking about how when Cordell went to Casa Amor, did his big one,
Yeah.
and then he came back, and normally I think people react differently, obviously, when they get their feelings hurt. She had just told him right before Casa Amor, like, I've been hurt in this way. Like, basically, I'm guessing she's been cheated on, like, physically and stuff like that. And so she had told him that. And so he basically just went and did that exact thing. And so when he came back, a lot of people in this situation sometimes are like, oh, you know, like, it's fine. Like, I'm glad he found a connection. But internally, that's not how they feel. They're hurt.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was, like, kind of calling him out for what it was. And then also just the whole plate thing of, when he brought her the breakfast, she was like, no, like, you're not just going to come back, say you're sorry, have your other girl, and then just like, everything's fine. Like, I deserve more than that. I was like, that's so healing.
And she did it multiple times. It wasn't just like, a lot of times on Love Island, the guy will go off, be a total douchebag at Casa Amor. He'll come back and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, he's really going to have to do a lot. Like Taylor and Aaron, he got me
Makes
a show.
one
It's
breakfast
like,
in the morning, which they normally do. Makes
he just
one breakfast.
cheated on you. Like, let's not let him just make you a necklace and then you're back.
Crazy.
That's what a lot of times happens. I think because you're in this little place, so everything just seems probably skewed. But she was not having it.
No,
like, over and over and over again. She's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm standing on business.
It was so impressive.
So impressive, and it was, like you said, so healing to watch. Like, a girl just actually stick to her guns and stick up for herself and her feelings, even when she liked him so much. It wasn't like she was doing it, because sometimes people do it and it's like, you don't even like them. Like, that's kind of what it was with Rob and Lee. It was like, it doesn't seem like you like her anymore. Why are you trying to like go in on her?
Yeah.
Just like get over it. But she was like, I really like him. I'm so mad at you. And I can't.
Ugh. The passion of when they were fighting,
know,
like, it's just all of
fighting.
it so cinematic and so good.
It was so good. Their story really was so good. Like, even going back to their first scene when he was like, I know who I want. It's Serena.
Oh, so cute.
Anyway, spoiler alert, the finale, they all went on their dates and it was cute. Nicole and Kendall was cute. Honestly, like, the whole, like, I love you thing was when he told her I love you and she didn't say it back. I felt bad for her. She was like, I feel like I ruined it. And she was like kind of coming over this, like, like, I feel like I ruined it. And then when she said it back to him in the speech, it was really sweet.
It was really cute, yeah. And she was so nervous to say it too.
It was really cute. And then Lee and Miguel were obviously so cute. Janae and Kenny are so funny.
They're so funny. They're like,
I fear she may scare him away if she mentions marriage one more time, though.
Yeah, I know. Every time she says that, I'm like, oh, I hope he thinks it's like cute and funny.
Let's space out the jokes. Maybe once every week.
Maybe we just saw every single joke.
Time that they said it,
somehow.
Yeah. He seems fine with it, though. He kind of just like makes a joke. Yeah. Or he kind of just thinks it's funny.
Love Kenny. Kenny has been unproblematic and funny and just
so
cool,
sweet.
calm, collected.
Yeah, Kenny is, the way he dresses, I love the way he dresses. Me and Nick were talking about it. Like, he dresses like a finance, like old money kind of guy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I've never even noticed that, but yeah, he kind of does.
He's cute. And then, of course, Serena and Cordell, of course, they won.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was the finale, the way it was filmed, the music, how it was built up. Like, this season, you couldn't write better TV.
No, it was so good. It was like a movie. Like, it was some of the best reality TV I've ever watched. And it wasn't done not just because of the drama. It's like, because it's actually real love. And you can feel it because it's up and down. And it's like an actual good, healthy, with Serena Cordell specifically, even though like he had that mess up, what that's supposed to look like, I feel like.
Yeah.
And how you're supposed to stand on business. And he's supposed to just take it.
Yeah.
And be like, you're right. You know what? I messed up. I'm sorry. And let her throw the food, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what got them the win.
I know, it was. And, it doesn't hurt that his brothers.
Yeah.
Odell, I loved when they did the family calls and Odell came on and they just both started cracking up. Like, that is what happens if I would call up. I just showed up on the screen. I just like.
It's so weird.
They just start dying laughing. Yeah. It was so funny. And so crazy to probably hear that.
That people are coming up to him being like, hey, like, yeah.
Your brother, your brother, your brother.
It's so weird because it's probably all he hears.
I wonder what's going to happen now that they're just all out in the real world. I follow Leah's, the big three. Oh, the other thing I want to touch on really quick, because we really can't spend, this really will become a Love Island podcast, but I want to talk about the friendship of it all, because I do feel like one of the main themes that everyone's talking about with Love Island this year was how the girls stuck together and stuck by each other and resolved conflict and like were such a good example of female friendships and just like supporting other women. And not like in a way where it's toxic and it's like, no matter what, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like calling each other out, but
Yeah.
being there for each other. Even when they had spats, fights, Liv and Leah, like going at each other, they always were like, Liv talked about on a podcast afterwards, like me and Leah were like sisters. Like we fight really aggressively, but then we like, like she was saying, no one saw this one part where Leah went and sat by her to get slimed, but they didn't like show that. That like Leah was like, I'm not gonna let you get slimed by yourself. So Leah sat by Liv.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and I just feel like Leah was made to believe that during the whole thing, versus how everyone thought she was going to be viewed and how she thought she was going to be viewed as like this girl who just made so many mistakes and was so toxic. And then she was so surprised when she got second.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, what? Like, you guys love me despite my mistakes. And everyone's like, despite your mistakes? You literally yelled at one person once. Like, you did not do as much as everyone made you think you did.
That's why it made me so mad that she was being confused, because I'm like, don't, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you trust your gut. Yeah, trust yourself. Yeah.
Like, of all the villains that Love Island has had,
No.
she was not doing anything. It was so stupid.
Yeah, it was so good.
Any other thoughts on the girls?
I had one, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, I was just about this, how they acted like sisters. That really was, I think, what was so fun to watch, because having a sister, you kind of know that you would literally, me and Chelsea would go on a fight or would get in a fight. We would be screaming, crying, throwing up, all of it. And then in like an hour, you're like watching TV.
Yeah.
And that's the same with any of our brothers. Like, you get in a fight, you're pissed off, you're literally yelling at each other. Like, I hate you, you suck, and blah, blah. And then you're like, yeah, I'm sorry. I was really emotional. I'm sorry. And then you're chill. And that's what was like watching it.
Because they like saw each other for who they really were. So it was like the arguments were tit for tat. And I feel like, I don't know, the season was just so different than any other Love Island season
It felt
that
different.
I've seen. Even UK.
Yeah.
Like, there were just, everybody was so close. It was so good.
It was just a good cast. Whoever did the casting for this one, they need to do it every single time, because they saw genuine star quality, I feel like, in the cast.
So many people.
So good.
And I really fear for next season. I just know it will not.
I would not want to be
up.
on the next season after this, because it would stress me.
This is the problem. This is now everyone that's thirsty is going to try, because they're like, oh, everyone was so big. This is what happens to all the best shows. It's like,
true.
The first couple seasons are so good because they don't know they're going to be
They're
huge
actually
stars.
themselves too,
Yeah,
instead
like,
of
no
trying
one's
to
really
morph
watching.
into other people that other people like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now next season we're going to have someone who wants to be the next Leah, you know.
I hate that.
It's just
Why
like,
do?
just be yourself.
Oh yeah, it ruins everything.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Well, we can kind of get into this advice maybe, and then it'll kind of maybe have some life updates as well for you.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Like, you know, that's how this goes. It's like we answer the advice, but also it's kind of like
It turns into a story about ourselves.
Let's talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what everyone wants to
Understandably
hear.
so.
Okay, well, this first one actually has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
And honestly, okay, tips for pregnancy nausea, please. It is bad. It is bad. My tips: complain, cry about it when you want to, but there's genuinely, besides Zofran, not much you can do besides suffer through it, and just know it will be over eventually. I don't know what to say to that besides that.
I have nothing to say. I haven't thrown up in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you get
Just
pregnant,
does it feel better after you throw up for a second? Because I know that feeling.
Maybe for
There's
a
no relief
split
then.
second. Maybe for a split second.
Then focus on that split second.
And then immediately it goes back. Like, it's not like the
That's
stomach flu.
terrible.
It's not like the stomach flu where you're like,
it feels so
relieved.
good
You're
after.
just like, oh, and you have a good hour or two.
Yeah. Oh, that's
when
horrible.
it's actually making me quite sick thinking about it.
That's bad.
When you have like morning sickness, if you throw up, it's just bad. It hurts your throat. It hurts your mouth. It makes your teeth gross. It hurts your stomach. It just it doesn't feel better afterwards.
The only advice I have is not to help the nausea. It's to help your mentality of don't let anyone make you feel like you're a baby for being absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, I feel like if I was super sick like that all the time and I would complain or I would feel like bad, I'd be like, why do I feel bad? I should be feeling a certain way, but
Yeah.
it's just hard.
It's just hard. But it does end eventually. That's the thing, is that it ends.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. My ex and I broke up over 3 months ago, and his mom still texts me to check up on me every other week. I love her and want to talk to her, but it feels like I shouldn't. What do I do? So her ex-boyfriend's mom talks to her still.
And it's friendly talk, sounds like?
Well, I don't know.
Just talks to her
It's not
still.
romantic talk, but yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying, wait. The mom talks to her.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm wondering if it's friendly, like
replying
to Instagram stories or something like that type of.
She still texts me to check up on me.
Oh, okay.
Every other week. So they're like talking, like they're friends. But she's wondering if she should stop. I mean, it's not really up to you. Unless it's like too painful for you.
I feel like if you don't plan on getting back together, depending on, I don't know who broke up with who, but I feel like I would just want to stop because what's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I see
I don't know.
It's true. Like, what's the point if it's kind of dragging things out and not letting you have closure then?
But I'm also not the type to like really talk to people like over text for long periods of time.
Yeah.
So I also
You're not? You never do that with anyone?
Advice. No.
Really?
Yeah. I just would rather see them in person or like have like a FaceTime every once in a while.
Okay. Yeah. I see that.
You know?
Yeah. You're not the best texter, but
I'll text to like, I'll text to see like, hey, how are you doing? If my friend's like, I don't know.
Yeah. But not like for days on end.
No, like that's not fun for me.
Yeah. Wow. I can see
that.
Are
you?
Especially if sometimes it depends.
I could see that.
Yeah.
You're a long texter.
I am a long texter. When I'm sometimes it might take me a while to reply, but I usually will always reply at some point. Even if it's like 3 days later.
Yeah.
But it also depends who it is. You know, some people I feel like I need to have like a longer, more thought out response. Some people I can just respond like, haha.
Yeah.
But, and also depends how, like if I'm seeing them every day, sometimes I don't text them every day, but
yeah,
it depends. But yeah, you're not the best texter.
Well, I'm not a bad texter. Why are you saying it like that? I'm sorry. Does everyone text everyone all the time?
I think
long conversations back and forth.
I think they do.
No, they don't. Nobody does that.
I think they do.
With their friends?
Yeah.
Why not just call on the phone?
Well, I think they do that too.
Okay, I'm a bad friend.
No. I think it's just different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Like it depends. Like I will have like with some friends, like I'll do like 1 or 2 long texts a day, or like 1 long text a day. If I'm like don't live by them, you know.
Oh my gosh.
But some like with JC, like I can say like haha, but it's like kind of just like an ongoing like long text.
That's like with my closest friend.
Yeah, because that's kind of how ours is. It's like it's not if we want to talk about something, we'll go back and forth, but it's not like I'm sending you this long thing.
That's true. Yeah.
Sending applications for Abby to have friends.
I hate you. Every time I try to like go make friends, Chelsea makes me feel so stupid.
I'm like, where were you? She's like, I was out with friends from work. I'm like, friends!
It's so annoying.
You have friends.
It makes me feel so stupid, like I'm 5 years old. But yeah, I mean, it's not hard for me to make friends. It's my fault because I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to making friends.
Why?
I don't know.
Like you're scared they won't like you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I mean, the core fear, is that they won't like me. Or that they'll pretend that they like me, but then they like go behind my back and do stuff. Like they're mean to me or something.
You've had friends do that in the past?
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened? Probably like young.
Yeah.
Because
I still have friends, but yeah, I don't have like a group of girlfriends. I have trust issues sometimes with girls.
Yeah, we need to work through
Girlfriends.
that. I mean, I think we've talked about this on the podcast, like not me and you necessarily, but like the pick me girl is sometimes pushed to be a pick-me because they've had such bad experiences with girlfriends that they are forced to, in a group setting, the guys are the only ones who accept her.
When I think of, I'm really exposing myself. When I think of being in a group of girls, my heart feels like it literally closes.
Really?
Yes. Like I don't feel free. Like, because I feel like it closes up.
Like,
I don't know why.
Like, before you go in knowing it's a group of girls, you're like, oh, I'm scared. Or like you go in there and you're like,
both. Wow. Just the whole time. I try so hard to be like, okay, no, it doesn't even matter if they like you or not. Just like go in, be yourself. But I'm also more quiet anyways. So then I just feel like I don't know. I just like, but I'm not super bubbly. So I don't go in being like, hey, everyone. Because then that feels fake. And so I'm like, ooh. But I want to. I don't have any problems. I like all women. Yeah. I don't care that you get your nails done.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that like the pick me thing? Like they're like, I don't get my nails done. Yeah. I don't have the money to get my nails done, or I probably would. But and I love makeup. Yeah. I'm just scared of.
No, you're not a pick me anymore. I will say that you've graduated. You've definitely graduated from that.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad, but. Like what do you?
Sad for you.
Well, no, it's sad that your heart closes up. That you feel like you can't be like 100% yourself because you're friendly. Like, you're friendly and you're really nice and you're really complimentary and you're really like you get like deep with people and you're very understanding. So it's a bummer that you can't just
feel open. Loose. I know, but I think one day, eventually, sometimes it just takes certain friends and certain people to like. Kind of automatically do that. I feel like maybe I just haven't met like a group of like I don't know.
And I will say sometimes when you have like expectations going into it, it can be harder. Like I think sometimes if it's friends that I introduce you to, then it's like there's expectations there because I'm there. And so it's like sometimes it's like nice to go into a new environment and you don't necessarily know anybody right away. So then you can kind of just like start from scratch.
Yeah, I think it definitely, I mean, you would always invite me to things, even like maybe a little bit in high school, but after and stuff. And now, which I have fun, obviously. But yeah, I think when there is expectation and pressure. And plus, I see so many videos that are like, having girlfriends heals my soul. I'm like, see, that stuff is why I have expectations, because then it's like, that looks awesome. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? But then, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't go into it like, I think the thing is, it's kind of like dating. Like you honestly, the more you go into it, like this man could be my husband, the almost worse you act in the date when you just meet a girl and it's like, okay, we're just friends and we're just whatever, but you're not like, we're not going to be like besties. You're not going to heal my soul. And you're just like, oh, we're just chatting about like, that's where it can really bloom into a friendship like that. Cause it's like in unexpected places. Sometimes when you go into it, maybe wanting like deep friendships, you act weird and like maybe too desperate and girls are like, okay, you're giving me weird vibes, you know?
Do I act desperate?
No, I don't know. I have never seen you in a situation besides with me and my friends.
No, it is true. That's probably why I get more anxious because there's more pressure around it.
Yeah. It's so interesting though. It's like friends are so complicated, but so not at the same time. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be too complicated. Yeah. You know? But,
I know.
You know, trauma makes it harder.
Yeah.
Dang those mean girls.
Dang those mean girls.
I ruined everything for you.
It's okay.
I think I had a little bit of that. And like, I actually just went on a trip with, not to brag, but I'm like, I have so many friends. No. I went on a trip with a bunch of friends that I had that I knew from junior high school. And we were talking about how, like, I haven't seen some of these girls in years, but we went to the same junior high, same high school, like kind of differently kept in touch over the years. But we were all talking about things that we did in high school. And we were like, we were all pick-me girls in high school.
Yeah.
Like, we all were friends, obviously, but like we all did things that were pick-me.
Yeah, every girl I swear in high school is a pick-me, no matter what. Yeah. Like, you're just probably different types of pick-me's.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we were all friends, because we could all just, you know, there's a little bit of knowing, like, you know what, they're probably going to be a little bit of a pick me. But you live and you learn that you don't need to be picked.
Yeah, I don't need to be picked.
Who cares? This podcast is sponsored by ByHeart. ByHeart is an infant nutrition company built from the ground up to deliver real innovation on behalf of babies and parents. Their mission is simple: make the best formula in the world. Using the latest in breast milk science, ByHeart created a clinically proven, easy to digest infant formula that's made with organic, grass fed, whole milk, certified clean ingredients, and features a patented protein blend that gets closest to breast milk. I love ByHeart. I'm so glad this is one of our sponsors so that we can talk to you guys about it, share this. If you're maybe a new mom or you know somebody who is looking for a formula brand, I know when I had Case, I was super stressed out about which brand to use because it's so overwhelming. You want to make sure they're getting all of the right nutrients and all of that stuff, and you don't even know where to start, where to look, and you want to be able to trust the company or the brand that you are using for your baby. So this year, our friends at ByHeart, only American-made formula with globally sourced ingredients to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, never skim, are celebrating the ways in which they never skim on anything, especially your babies. So ByHeart never skims on healthy fats. They only use organic, grass-fed whole milk. Whole milk is full of healthy fats like naturally occurring MFGM, which play an important role in babies' brain development and growth. So ByHeart never skims on protein. Their patented protein blend gets closest to breast milk thanks to the two most abundant proteins found in breast milk, plus broken down proteins. They never skim on their standards, which is absolutely amazing. Like I said, it can be very overwhelming as the customer. So when you find a company who does their research, who really cares about their customers, it's amazing. Their formula is made with certified clean ingredients, plus it has no soy, corn syrup, GMOs, or palm oil. ByHeart also never skims on digestion. Their formula is clinically proven versus a leading infant formula for easier digestion, softer poops, and less spit up. There's so much behind the scenes effort that goes on when you are the mom trying to figure out what to feed your family, what to feed your kids, especially when they're little tiny babies. And there's so many different things to consider, like the poops, like the spit up. Are they seeming like they're growing? Are they digesting it well? Are they peeing and pooping enough? There's just so much that goes on. So like I said, it's just so nice that ByHeart really cares and never skims on their standards. I also never considered the type of milk, I guess, that goes into formula because obviously there's so many different kinds. There's goat milk, there's skim milk, there's all these different kinds, and most companies use skim milk, but the big differentiator for ByHeart is that they are the only American-made infant formula with globally sourced ingredients to use organic, grass-fed whole milk without a drop of skim. So if you are curious about ByHeart, you can redeem your welcome offer at byheart.com/podcast with the code WhatWeSaid20 for a limited time. Additional terms and conditions to apply. Again, if you want to check out ByHeart, if you want to send it to somebody, recommend it to somebody, you can go to byheart.com/podcast with the code WhatWeSaid20 for a limited time. That is byheart.com/podcast, code WhatWeSaid20. This will be linked in the show notes for you guys. You can go check it out and click the link and then use the code WhatWeSaid20. Go check it out.
Okay. Wow. Next one. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm scared.
Advice for confidence in the bedroom.
Oh.
After having a baby, I just don't feel as confident with my new body. It's hard for me to be in the moment and not think about how my stomach looks. Okay, wait. I saw a thing about this. What did it say?
About the stomach specifically?
Yeah, it was something specifically about the stomach, or just like basically guys don't care. They literally do not care about your, like, if there's cellulite, if there's rolls.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna look at your rolls and be like, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not down. Like,
No, then they're fired up. They don't really.
it's not like they think you're so, this is the thing. They think you're so beautiful. And what's going to help that is when you believe that you're beautiful. The more beautiful you feel, like really focus on feeling beautiful for yourself, because I've allegedly, that's how women, get in the mood more, is when they feel prettier.
100%.
And
yeah.
guys get more in the mood when they see something.
Yeah.
Like you. So that's why lingerie is great. It's not for them. It's for you to feel like sexy.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like literally, if you have rolls, if you have a stomach, like I get it. I have stretch marks. I have like loose skin on my stomach. It just, literally in my head, maybe this is like egotistical, but I'm like, who cares? Like, if he doesn't like it, who cares?
Yeah.
I literally birthed his children. Like,
No, I
this
think
is
that's
what
a good
if I have to
attitude to
live
have.
with it, so does he.
Yeah. No, I think that's the healthiest way to think about it, because then because it is quite literally true. It's not
Yeah.
like you're blowing smoke up your butt. It's like you did do all of those things. And so that is an empowering thing. And so who cares? And again, he's not thinking about that.
And I guarantee you, like, he's not, well, maybe he has said something to you, but like, he probably has not said anything to you. And he probably loves the way that you look. He probably thinks you're sexy. If he wants to have sex with you, he thinks you're sexy. So
I saw one thing that I've actually done before when you feel just like you've gained weight or your body changes or it's like you have cellulite. Like my body has changed so much from the beginning of my 20s to now. And so to cope with that in a healthy way, I will look at my body in the mirror like almost closely and then practice like affirmations or practice just literally holding places that maybe I feel insecure about,
oh,
but
that's
sending
cute.
like love to it and gratitude and all of that stuff. And then it kind of flips it so that you just feel more gratitude and, and that mentality plus what you were saying, like who freaking cares? I did all of this.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Flip
That's
the mentality.
Good. Send the energy, send positive energy, because I also think about the fact that this is quite literally the only body you're ever going to have. So yes, you can always do stuff to make yourself, you can start working out if you want to. Like, I'm not saying, you're stuck like that,
Yeah.
but if you want to work on it, however you want to, whatever feels comfortable to you and whatever is your like best that you can do. But then accept whatever's happening because of that. And then,
Yeah. Surrender the rest.
yeah. But, and also I think when they compliment you, take it. And like, don't be like, no,
True.
no. Like,
Yeah, that's good.
So I hate when people do that to me. Like,
Yeah.
if I give them a compliment, like, no. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a liar.
Well, now I'm stupid,
Yeah.
huh? I don't
I'm
have
lying?
eyes.
You think I'm a liar?
Oh, I'm blind?
You think I have bad taste? But like, take it. If they say, oh, that outfit looks so cute on you. Oh, you look so beautiful. Like, believe them because they're probably not lying.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn off the part of your brain that jumps in right after someone says something like that. Just ignore that part. Be like, yeah, I don't have to listen to you.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm starting college in a different state in the fall, and I'm nervous about making friends. I feel like my whole life I've always been the friend who gives more than I receive, and I just want to find people who match my vibe and seem to care as much as I do. Are my expectations too high? How do I change my mindset and just chill out? Thanks so much. Wow, what a great question to go off of what we were talking about.
That is a good question.
Any
I'll go
advice?
first. Well, I don't think I'm the friend that gives more than I receive. I think, truth be told, I am a friend that receives probably more than I give sometimes.
Well, that's your problem.
Well,
We've
I know,
solved
but
it.
I'm saying mostly because, well, actually, no. I'm just thinking of one of my friends, Jessica. She's very much like, we joke around that she's like Leslie Knope. Like, she'll remember random stuff. She'll send gifts. Like, she's remembers everything about everyone.
Yeah.
And so I've always felt like a bad friend compared to her, but like I try in my ways, but we just give differently. But anyways, I think whenever you're giving something, you should never expect anything in return because
Yeah.
that right there is where the expectation is created and where I don't know, the heart starts to close when other people don't give you something back. And then don't give too much if you feel like nothing is, if it's not serving you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think in regards to making friends, I have nothing.
You've made friends.
No, I
though.
know, but not like new friends where I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
I think it's more so if you are moving somewhere new, is that what she's saying?
She's
moving
going to
to
college, yeah.
Well, if you're rooming with people, you automatically probably become friends with them.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
A lot of people have roommates and stuff. But just go do things that you like to do and like your hobbies or whatever. And then I feel like
Yeah.
you find like-minded people.
Yeah. And I think it's, something to be said that you're already aware of the fact that you may have too high of expectations and you may need to chill out about it. It's like I just said, like, you can't be too desperate going into it because no one wants to be friends with that energy because they instantly, at least for me, like I instantly sense if someone's like, I want a friendship with you where we do stuff for each other. It's like, okay, pump the brakes.
It's the feeling of needing, someone needs you.
Yes. It's like they're doing stuff and you're like, okay, I can tell you're wanting stuff back from me and I can't be giving that to you. Like, I didn't sign up for this. And like, I want to start a friendship first. And I think that's where you should start. I think you should focus on being, friends with yourself, being comfortable alone and getting, to know your hobbies, what you like to do, and then let the friendships blossom from there, like from where you tend to go.
Yeah.
And then you just start talking. Like I said, you talking to someone and it's not instantly like, let's hang out, let's be friends, blah, blah, blah. Like just be talking like, oh, she likes dogs. You like dogs. Oh my gosh, I have this dog. Yeah, that's awesome. I have this dog. Oh, that's cool. Like, what's your Instagram? Like, and then you can just slowly, you got to finesse it a little bit.
Yeah. You do.
Don't just start sending stuff because sometimes that does turn friends off if you're doing too much. Because it does make you feel like a bad friend. And you're like, I don't even want to be friends with you because you're making me feel like I'm a bad friend.
Yeah, because you can't reciprocate the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like you're making me feel too bad. But good luck. Good luck in college.
Let me know what you find out. How to do
Send
it.
Abby the advice.
Just kidding. I have friends, you guys. It's not like I have no friends. I have 2 very close friends. You don't need 20 friends.
No, you really don't. You really don't. Help. My best friend is dating a jerk. They're long distance and dated almost a year and are talking about getting married. I just met him on a weekend trip, and to sum it up, I was embarrassed to be around him. He was so rude to servers, hostesses, arrogant about money, and totally unaware. I don't think she sees it. Do I talk to her about it? How? This is my very best friend from college, and I love her dearly. I fear you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those things where they have to sometimes learn their own way.
It's a canon event, cannot be interfered.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. If he's like actually, like there's one thing being a jerk, but like just kind of a jerky guy. But if he's like abusive mentally and stuff like that to her and stuff, it's like, obviously, yeah, you should maybe say something to her.
Yeah.
And point it out as in, do you feel like you're getting what you deserve in this relationship? Do you feel like, make it about her?
Yeah.
If she feels like she's getting what she's...
Don't just tell her.
Yeah.
That's a good way to
and
go
then,
about it.
Yeah, but that, I fear there's not much.
No, you just have to let her date the jerk because it sucks because then you don't really want to be around them. So it's like if you're in a couple too, you don't want to be couple friends with them. It just ruins the vibe. Like, don't date a jerk.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Because then you don't want to you just don't want to bring anybody around them.
Yeah, but then you got to be there. If you still want to be your friend, unfortunately, you're going to have to be there when it
ends.
Or if it never ends.
True. Then you're probably never going to be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, I'm the middle child in my family, and my little brother is leaving for a 2-year mission, and my older sister's getting married in a few months, and I feel like I'm watching my family evaporate before me. I am so sad about my brother leaving because we are so tight. I am also having a hard time feeling excited about my sister's wedding because it's been a super fast relationship, and I feel like my sister is being taken away from me. Any advice on how to deal with serious family changes? This is a good question. We've honestly never had a question like this before.
No, like sibling life changes.
Yeah. You go first. Because I feel like you...
I'm more of a middle child.
No.
Just kidding.
We're
Just
exactly
that would
the
make you
same.
mad because middle children always have like, oh, I'm the middle forgotten child. I've had to fight my way through life.
I'm more forgotten than you then because I'm the eldest daughter.
Yeah, I am the baby girl. I'm the
Yeah.
little baby girl.
Yeah, you're the baby girl, so. Anyways, dealing with big family changes. I feel like for me, the biggest family changes I went through were with Lad and Clay going on their missions. And that was hard for me, but to be honest, I was in high school and
You probably moved on quick.
yeah, I was like, okay, see you in 2.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was just like having fun socializing, but How was it for you when I got married?
When you and Nick were dating, I remember I third wheeled with you guys a lot.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it wasn't that hard for me when you guys got married because I liked Nick and you guys were funny and I got to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
But it is weird because then it's just you, but you were the first one to get married in the family. So that was a huge thing of like, things are
so
changing.
we're getting married now. That's a thing.
Yeah. So you're bringing new people and you're leaving us for someone else. Like that's how it felt. And it was like, I don't really love this. Now I love it because now we have just more like siblings it feels. But at first it was kind of just weird.
Maybe it's too, because the reason I was asking you is because I was the first one to get married. So I never had like a sibling get married before me that was like, oh my gosh, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like we're doing this now, huh? Okay, fine. Everyone for themselves. Everyone find someone.
Everyone hurry, run.
Scatter.
We're no longer here for each other. Run. That's so funny.
How it felt, but
I feel like when Lad went on his mission, that's kind of when it was like,
that was the big one.
We're done.
Yeah. Well, that was fun, everyone.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
Loved hanging out with you guys our entire lives, but see you later.
Starting to crumble.
Yeah.
So interesting.
That's when life got more real, more serious.
Yeah, honestly. And then, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard because when Lad got married, he was older. So it was like, I was already married. I don't know. It's hard for me to answer because I was already married. So it was like, I wasn't like, he's gone. I was excited,
I think
Hannah was going to be our sister. It was like so exciting. She's our age. Like it just was exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like he was being
leaving
stolen.
Like it's okay to feel like your siblings being stolen because it is a huge shift in the family dynamic and with your siblings because now their priority is not, it's not as simple for them anymore. It is more complicated now. And so you are way less of a priority. Yeah. And so that is kind of a hard shift, but just so you know that if that's how it feels, it does get better. And then once, you get married and then it's like you guys come back together and it's a lot, I don't know, more deep and I don't know how to explain it, but
I think the initial change, if they're both leaving, it is sad to just kind of understand like this is the end of the era of us all living together. That's really hard to cope with. But also I think with the marriage thing, anytime that feeling comes up, it's like once you get to know more the other person, like the in-law, it makes it way easier.
Yeah, it makes it more fun.
Yeah, because as soon as we got to know Hannah, it's like, oh my gosh, we'd honestly rather have you than Lad at this point. No, I'm just kidding. And same with Aubrey. It's like once you actually get to know them, it's like you know them and you love them and you're like, oh, okay, perfect. Like, great.
Cool.
Love you actually more than my brother. Like, it's fun and you start to understand it's a blessing, but there is going to be that transition period.
That middle transition period. That's okay, they're new. They're coming to every family thing. Okay.
Yeah, and it is weird to know, even probably that's how
Such a bratty standpoint, honestly. I'm like, oh, people are coming over.
No, it is. Like, that's probably how I felt so old when I got married, and I was literally 20, turning 21 in like 2 days. I was kind of 21. Crazy. But to think like that's maybe how like Nick's family also, like siblings maybe also felt as well as my siblings. Like I was like, yeah, you guys, guess what? Marriage. Woo, we're getting married. And I think it's weird to think back on like maybe that's how, because ours wasn't that fast. It wasn't like, 2 months. It was a little like we knew each other.
Everyone's kind of saw it coming. Like we expected it.
But anyways, it is hard. I mean, there's really no advice besides it's just like a pain you have to feel and go through and get over.
Don't resist the change because there's beautiful things on the on the other side.
Welcome it with open arms. Okay, this is the last one. Please help. So I've been dating my boyfriend for 5 years. I'm 21 and I love him a lot. However, everyone in my life hates him, and at this point we are basically secretly dating. Nobody knows we're together anymore. He's my high school boyfriend and I cannot get over him. Like, I love him, but he's terrible. How the heck do I move on from him? I've tried everything. He's cheated and I'm like stuck on this. What do I do?
He's terrible.
And I'm like still stuck on this. What do I do? How do I finally leave him? Love the pod. Have no idea how this podcast. You have no idea how this podcast has saved me. Oh, thank you. What do you mean help? Like, You want me to come over there and pry him out of your hands?
It's not going
I
to
will.
feel okay leaving. It just, if you're waiting for something, some canon event to happen where you're like, okay, now I have to leave. That will never happen. You just have to just choose to leave. If you know it's bad, you know it's not good for you. There's nothing we could say. You just have to leave. It's not going to feel good.
Yeah, it's true. That's good advice. You just got to do it. Like, you obviously know. And you're probably just waiting for us to answer this on the podcast. And the answer is leave him as fast as possible. Like, it's such a red flag that everybody in your life hates him. That's a massive red flag.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand. It's not just like one person in your life.
Yeah.
You know, that bitter person doesn't like them. Like, everybody doesn't like them.
They don't like him because they're out to get you. They don't like him because they like you, and they're tick that like he
is probably doling your shine.
Yeah, exactly. Trust them.
I hate that. Girl, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Stop.
Aaron,
fun.
Aaron. Well, before we wrap this up, do you have any life updates for us? Like, what's been going on lately? How's the pod?
The podcast is good. It's fun.
Dear Abby, if you guys want to listen.
Dear Abby. It's a lot
Your
like...
Your video's better than ours.
Thank you. Yeah, I use Keaton's camera, and it's pretty nice.
It's really, like, every time I see it on my YouTube thing, I'm like,
pretty crispy.
Gosh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how to, like, color grade and stuff to make the video look better, so I just make it look as good as I can. That.
Then they'll notice.
Oh.
They'll notice. They will pick you apart.
Good.
They'll notice.
I dare you.
But anything's better than this old set. So. Sorry.
Except for I just am on my bed. But yeah, the podcast is fun. It's something that I started like 2 years ago now, which is kind of crazy.
Wow, 2 years?
Yeah.
Dang.
I know. So I do feel just as like inspired as when I first started. But yeah, every week is a little bit different because I don't have a co-host. Mm-hmm. And so I have to motivate myself to like.
I think you should get
the energy.
I think you should look into getting a co-host.
Oh yeah, that's easier said than done. I'm sorry. Do you know anyone?
Because it genuinely makes it way easier. Makes it way easier. Like, I was just thinking of everyone who does it. Like, I know so many people, like Tyson, you, Maddie, like so many people do it by themselves. Fun. And you guys do a great job for sure. Like, it's so great. And I'm not saying it would be better if you had a co-host, but
I think it would.
For your own sake.
For my own sanity.
Honestly. I've been doing the podcast alone for 2 weeks and I want to kill myself.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It just feels like, lonely.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, how do you guys have the confidence to like always know you're making the best decision? Like me and JC, at least like we can make decisions together. It's like, I can like be confident, but then I at least always have somebody who's there to be like, yeah, I agree with you, or no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I think I just completely dissociate that I'm posting it on the internet for people to see. And I think there's no consequences to this, to these actions that I'm in this podcast that I'm creating.
I also do that though. But co-host won't solve that.
Oh. Well, yeah.
If anything, we like egg each other. Like,
Cole,
leave that in.
I did have Cole, our little brother, on the podcast, and I'm like, this is so much better to have someone on the podcast with me, because I do like the more calm, cozy type thing. Like that's sometimes what I listen to. So I'm like, oh, maybe I could create that type of a environment, and you know, good for the brain, you know. And so, but yeah,
is it good for the brain?
Well, I think it's just not like brain rot.
I love brain rot.
I know. And I do too sometimes, but I think for the mentally ill, sometimes it's just like that stuff either helps people or it makes them feel worse, and it makes me feel way worse.
Yeah.
Because I just it's just overstimulating all of like I don't know.
The what? The pink curtains and the blue
couches
of it all?
No. I'm saying like just the noise of so many opinions, so much like drama, so much like about physical appearance, so much about emotional, like psychoanalysis, like all of that stuff feels too much sometimes for me.
Gotcha.
So sometimes I like the quiet.
So who is like the target demographic? Like if someone's listening and they're like, should I listen to Abby's podcast? Who would you say is your like would love your podcast?
I think people who like.
I'm doing a branding practice for you too, for yourself.
Because I did this 2 years ago, but it's been so long. A lot has gone
What's
on.
happened?
The people, I think just the people who would like my podcast are other people that feel like they've had anxiety or OCD or mental illness or something. Doesn't have to be mental illness, just something that has made them carry a lot of what's wrong with me, shame, all of that stuff. And so my podcast, I just kind of talk through all of the things that I've struggled with mentally
Which is a lot. Just kidding.
and overcoming it. And then, but also still dealing with it because it's not just like a black and white. I'm healthy, I'm not healthy. It's like just life, you know? So I think anyone that finds peace knowing that other people are also struggling with stuff, but also there's ways to get help and out of it, you know?
Nice. Yeah, you guys should listen to it. It is very calming.
Yeah, hopefully. But
Nice.
maybe I'll have a co-host now.
Maybe. I'm not looking for any more jobs, but I would. If you really wanted me to, I would. Anything else?
Do you have certain questions for
How's
me? Are you fishing for something?
Yeah. Well, I already asked for a key and update last time, but so
Oh, it's
Anything-
the same thing.
anything cool happen?
Nope.
Oh, the last thing I was going to ask you is kind of off that topic is your OCD recovery. Just like a brief, you know, you don't have to dive
Synopsis?
way deep into it, but you got diagnosed what? 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
I think 3 years ago.
Your OCD
That's
diagnosis is almost as old as Case.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, it's older than Case then because I got diagnosed before he was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because when I came to visit, I had it. I remember because I was holding a newborn and I had OCD. So the thoughts were flying.
Well, I'm glad you didn't tell me that at that point. I would have fed my
Yeah,
postpartum
you wouldn't
anxiety.
tell anyone.
Like, I think I'm going to drop this baby.
It's probably a similar thing that you have as postpartum anxiety. It's just
Yeah.
like this thing is tiny. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
responsibility holding this thing.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, it's very similar.
so crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Well, how's it going now? Like,
It's
do you
going
feel
good.
like
It's-
you're, is OCD something that you can cure?
I wouldn't necessarily
like, fully
necessarily
recover
say
from?
cure because it's something that I think you can maybe fully recover, but I think that just looks differently than what people think when they start recovery. At least for me, because I was diagnosed 3 years ago, but I've had it I think my entire life. Like I can think back to when I was like 5, remembering just random stuff that I would do and the thoughts that I would have and stuff. But I feel like now I'm in a lot better of a place. Like I was literally didn't want to leave my room for a couple months and was just debilitated by it. But now I can just live a normal life. But internally, I still struggle a lot with it.
Like what?
Just like continual rumination in my head of just trying to figure everything out. What does this thought mean? Oh, I felt this time. What does that mean? It's just a continuous. It's like someone said OCD feels like you're solving a Rubik's Cube with like a gun pointed at your head.
Oh my gosh.
Because you're like under pressure trying to solve something, but you're just like waiting for something to happen.
Okay. Well,
That's what it feels like.
I have been maybe just like postpartum anxiety. Like I have understood the expression like rumination that you say all the time.
It's exhausting.
Like very much so recently, where it's like I will like be staying up late at night and it's just like, oh my gosh, I literally cannot turn my brain off.
Yeah.
Like trying to like
It's like on auto
figure
mode.
all of these things out that it's just like
You
And this
can't.
happened to me last time postpartum, like about 3 months, like each time. I start to like have existential crisis of like maybe it's just like part of parenting, you know, you just start to like it's very I feel like I become very reflective when I'm postpartum on just like my childhood, the meaning of life. Is everybody in my life okay? Just like trying to control everything. And then I'm just like up all night, just like cannot turn my brain off trying to figure out the mysteries of the universe. And it's so exhausting. And
It is.
So then I wake up and when I'm like doing stuff during it, I'm like, why was I so like
Yeah, that was weird.
that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's there's a sound on I think it was on TikTok that's like it wasn't that serious or it was never that serious. Like that's how it feels sometimes because I mean at night it happens to me a lot, but during the day like when I'm working, I'll be working and I'll just be constantly ruminating about random stuff. Like
Really?
it would go from existential to like, I don't know, religious to like relationship to it just jumps around and it's like this never ending rabbit hole. But it's possible. This is what I've experienced is as much as you're trying to find that answer, because that answer, that feeling that you think it's going to like click in place, it's never going to. And that feels really scary.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, once you try to start accepting that and instead of like going down the rabbit hole and you choose it, you instead choose, I'm just going to trust like, you know, something and have faith in something, that something is like, you know, it's not up to me. I don't have to figure out how the world is spinning on an axis.
Yeah.
Type of stuff. Or how does everyone, I want everyone to be happy. How can I figure that out?
Yes.
I want my family to live forever. Everyone be close together. It's all going to be okay.
How can I justify in my head that they are all fine? Like that everyone's okay and like they're never sad and like they never have issues and their issues are like not real and they're okay.
Yeah.
That's what my mind is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what issues are to come? What's, you know.
Yeah, you try to plan for the future based on, okay, well, this has happened to this person in the past. And so maybe we can stop this from happening in the future if, you know, that type of.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's literally so especially like mine is the worst in the evening postpartum. Like when the sun starts setting at like 3 or 4. I hate that time of day anyways, like 3 or 4.
Starts to get dread and like.
Yeah, the lighting is just like, and then I just start feeling like sick. Like I'm like, oh no, like my just anxiety is going to start setting in. And then usually it gets better and then I go to sleep. But it's like around that time. If I'm already feeling anxious or if something comes up, you betcha that time rolls around. Sucks. It's just making me feel like yucky.
Yeah.
If you feel comfortable to finish this out, to make, you know, because I have had postpartum, the closest I can relate to like how you talk about your OCD is like my postpartum experience, honestly, like a lot of the things
it could
that
be
you talk
technically
about.
postpartum OCD. Some people just get it postpartum and then it doesn't affect anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like to self-diagnose, but like there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of rumination, and there's a lot of like obsessiveness about things. And it jumps from thing to thing, from like a lot of it's health wise, just like kids and like safety and like random things.
Yeah.
But I have had some like crazy thoughts, like, you know, I think like the OCD thing is a lot of people. I was listening to Brooke. I can't pronounce her last name.
Obsessed.
Yeah, Obsessed.
Yeah.
And she talks about funny things that like she has OCD and
like
that
fears.
They have thought. And I want you to share maybe like 2 or 3 that you've thought of. I've heard you talk about them on your podcast too, like funniest thoughts. Like now, like you said, like he was never that serious.
Yeah.
Where
but
like,
during you're like, no, this is going to happen. Like this is my,
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The first one that comes to my mind is, and this still happens on planes, but I don't get into a panic state.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes when I'm flying or when that's the feeling of when your stomach drops. Every time I get that feeling, I have thoughts that start saying, okay, what if all of your atoms like immediately disperse and you just like float into nothing? Like, what if that were to happen? I'm like, yeah, what if that happened? What do I do? You know, I wouldn't be able to think about what I'm going to do, but it's like, you're like, oh my gosh, wait, how do I stop that from happening?
Yeah.
And so it's like the stupidest things, but that's the first one that I thought of. But were you going to share some? Or I'm sharing?
Yeah, well, like the first time, the postpartum ones, like they're usually pretty crazy, but the scary thing is about it is like sometimes they can be true. So that's what makes them even scarier. Is like, what if I'm the like 0.1%?
Exception?
Yeah. What if I'm the exception? But like, so
classic.
You know, just mine aren't even funny though because they can happen. So it's really not like, oh, this is like funny. But I just get scared. Like I'll think that, you know, one of my kids is like not breathing and they like clearly are. And like everyone around me is like it's like my eyes.
Yeah, your senses, like you don't trust your senses as much.
Like their lips are blue and everyone's like, they literally, their lips are not blue. Yeah. And that doesn't happen all the time. It's like I would say like once or twice postpartum. Like it happened like once or twice with Case and it's happened like once or twice with Elwood where it's like the next day I'm like, I feel dumb.
Yeah. I feel like I've had, well, I mean, I've had so many things that my OCD has attached to. But another one is like, I used to watch Law and Order,
Yeah.
like Special Victims Unit. And so
Such a good
a
show,
scary
though.
one that I'd always get, I was scared I was like a serial killer, which is very common.
Really?
For an OCD. Yeah. You're scared that I legitimately
That
thought
you
I was
could
the
be?
scum of I thought I was like the worst person to ever live. Like I genuinely believed
Wait. Do you think that you had done crimes and you didn't
Both.
remember?
both. I'm like, what if I
Really?
secretly have like an actual psychopath?
Really?
Yes.
And
And
that
then
you
your
were
brain
getting
starts to
away
trick
with
you, being like, yeah, well, you sometimes don't smile enough, or sometimes you look at people weird, maybe. So then when I look at people, I'm like, is there light in my eyes? Like, it's like weird stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. But that doesn't bother anymore because, I mean, probably not, but
Yeah.
it's like that type of thing because you get random images and like things from things you've seen. And then because
Yeah.
you're sensitive to it, you're like, oh my gosh, get out of my head.
Yeah.
Just makes it worse. So that's not fun, but those are pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I feel like, how would you, if you do have OCD, are you supposed to like not watch certain things?
No, that actually makes it worse.
Really?
Yeah, because it's
But
not
if
like
you
you
never
have.
know-
It's not like you have to watch bad stuff all the time. I think for a while I thought that you had to do that, just like too much exposure. Where I'm like, okay, if I have to expose myself to every horrible thing.
Yeah.
But instead, it's more like don't avoid anything because then that just tells your brain, your subconscious, like we should be scared of this because of this belief that we are somehow wrong or bad inherently
okay.
or something.
That makes sense.
But yeah, you'd want to get to a point where
Interesting.
you can kind of be faced with anything and you still have that internal, like, we're going to be, I
Yeah.
can handle it. Whatever it is, I can handle it,
Yeah.
type of thing.
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Your brain
But
is so
It's very powerful.
you're working so hard at this brain. Like, can you just
No, I
do
know.
something else for me?
No, literally, I can't understand basic math sometimes. I don't understand basic algebra, and yet you're trying to understand like the mysteries of the universe. It's
Yeah, like you couldn't you remember to reply to this email last week. Like, can
No, I
you put
know.
your efforts into something else, brain, and
know.
stop thinking about all these random stupid things?
I know, it's really crazy.
Like, no wonder I'm freaking burnt out. I'm trying to solve
Yeah, and then you don't get anything
solve
done.
what I'm supposed to do if I was on the Titanic and I had my dog, my husband, and both of my kids.
Who do you save? What do
Yeah.
you do?
What am I supposed to do? How are we all going to survive?
Yeah, it's like this moral question of like, what's the best thing to do in this
oh my gosh, stop.
situation?
I'm sick. I'm sick.
It's good. That's to trigger. You have to just sit with it and be like, I don't know. Do you want to hold my hand?
Like, no, I've already gone through this scenario in my head. Wow. Well, what an episode. Anything you want to shout out, say to the Valley Girls? Anything you think that they need from you? Desperately. Say it right there to the camera.
There's nothing that comes to mind, but
Wow.
I hope you guys have a good week, and
Weekend. It's Friday.
I hope you guys have a good weekend. And thanks for listening to Chelsea's podcast because I get a lot of free clothes from her that gets passed down because if she gets paid.
Yeah,
She pays me sometimes for nannying stuff. She buys me food. So none of that would be possible without you guys. So this is my formal,
It's true.
yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank
for letting
you.
me buy my sister In and Out when she comes.
Yeah,
with
and
me.
really good birthday presents.
That's true.
And I make her homemade stuff where I buy
That's just as
thrifted
sweet.
stuff. Yeah,
Money's not everything, but it's a lot.
but it is a lot.
Okay, well, thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you want to follow Abby, it's at Dear Abby. I don't even know how many underscores.
There's
but
2.
You'll be able to find it somewhere, somehow.
Maybe one day I'll buy the
the
normal
username.
one.
Oh yeah. Or you can listen to Dear Abby on the podcast app, on Spotify, on YouTube. And then if you want to follow What We Said on TikTok, it's What We Said. What We Said on What We Said podcast on Instagram. And then also we now record our episodes on YouTube. So if you want to go to our YouTube channel, it's at What We Said podcast. You can watch all of our episodes, I think, since January. And yeah. that's the deal. That's the vibes
That's
for
the
today.
deal.
That's what I always say to Case. Me and Case and Nick always say.
I know. I've seen him say.
That's the deal.
Is that a deal?
Yeah, that's the
It's
deal.
so cute.
If it's not something, that's not the deal. Anyways, love you guys so much. And that's what we said. Bye.